Hello guys, welcome back to our anime explainer. Guys, please like the video and subscribe to my channel. Today is explanation of Swallowed Star 2 origin continent based on novel. So let's start. Luo Feng created the primordial life and death Tao. Although his life form hasn't mutated yet, the Tao is also part of his life, and he is completely different from before. Relying on his own Tao, Luo Feng could sense a space-time fluctuation coming through. That space-time fluctuation made him feel threatened. In the past, when facing the Starlight Lord, Luo Feng couldn't even detect the other's aura. But now, he could clearly sense the threat, and they were already beings on the same level. Luo Feng, you should know, in the past years, more than 1/6 of our practitioner camp's territory has fallen. A vast amount of source worlds and ordinary worlds have been breached, countless cultivator lives extinguished. The voice of the Starlight Lord continued, every one of us lords wants the innate primordial life camp to pay a sufficient price. More than 1/6 of the territory, how many creatures died? Even the lords couldn't count. The main battle avatars of our 7 lords are fighting against 73 ancestors. The Starlight Lord transmitted, currently, the outside world does not know of the birth of the 8th Lord. You must keep it a secret. All avatars outside the land of origin must not break through. Once they break through, they are easily detected by some ancestors of the innate primordial life camp. The land of origin is special, breaking through here, they won't discover it, stated the Starlight Lord. As the last stronghold of the practitioner camp, the lords have expended countless efforts to isolate all spying. I understand, I will keep it a secret, Luo Feng said. A concealed blade can make the ancestors pay a painful price. If he exposes himself, every ancestor will be wary. Luo Feng very much wanted to deliver a fierce blow to these ancestors. You break through first, we'll discuss more after you're done, the Starlight Lord did not disturb further. In the quiet room of the cave mansion, all of Luo Feng's avatars dispersed, and various energies began to gather under his spiritual consciousness, further devouring the vast energy continuously provided by the quiet room of the cave mansion. The energy supplied by the land of origin was vast. In a mere breath, it was enough to supply the energy of a world-level primordial perfection life form. At this moment, Luo Feng was wantonly devouring, and more than 90% of the energy from the land of origin was prioritized for Luo Feng, letting him absorb it. In a moment, dark green sources floated within the cave mansion, with a count totaling 1,080,000,000. 1,080,000,000 sources, like a star array, interlinked as one. This was also the core of Luo Feng's physical body. Boom. The power from the land of origin surged into those 1,080,000,000 sources like a substantial flood, continuously pouring in. These 1,080,000,000 sources seemed bottomless, absorbing ceaselessly. At the same time, using these hundreds of millions of sources as the core, countless strands began to extend, either dark green strands spreading and growing to form flesh, or golden strands integrating into every part of the body, or blood-red strands extending. A massive black-robed, black-haired man's body was forming. The man's skin, fascia, bones, and flesh were permeated with countless blood-red strands. This blood-red strand was Luo Feng's achievement in the Star Tower blood scale. Its influence on Luo Feng was profound. Luo Feng also understood that merely having strong protective scale armor on the surface meant little. At the Lord level, attacks make no distinction between inside and outside, internal weaknesses become fatal. Thus, Luo Feng deciphered many mysteries from the Star Tower blood scale, and perfectly combined them with his physical body system, creating this blood-red strand. In reality, these blood-red strands were another form of blood scale, but covering every part of the body. This blood-red strand system also made Luo Feng's blood red. With the primordial life and death Tao, Luo Feng's blood should be dark green. It was precisely due to the additional blood-red strand system that the color of his blood, muscles, and bones changed. My skin and fascia, I estimate, only have 1/10 of the defensive strength of the Star Tower blood scale, not considered immortal. But every part of my body is of such toughness. The entire body has no weak points. This body's size continued to grow. Still within the scope of my spiritual consciousness system's control, grow, keep growing. Luo Feng absorbed the energy fully, converting it into a gigantic physical body. The quiet room of the cave mansion was too small. Luo Feng couldn't even stand, he could only sit cross-legged. Sitting cross-legged, he almost occupied the entire quiet room spacetime. He could only compress his size, but in reality, the physical body continued to grow. In the land of origin, 7 lords constantly monitored Luo Feng's breakthrough situation. He is still absorbing energy to the maximum extent. Jin couldn't help but say, the energy his current physical body is absorbing has already surpassed me. His primordial life and death Tao is primarily based on life. Yuan laughed. It is foreseeable that his body will far exceed ours. Only Lord Wulan could compare to him. Comparable to Lord Wulan. Ming Huang gently shook his head, the size is just too big. Lord Wulan's body was equivalent to a normal source world. In a normal source world, most of the internal area is void. Yet Lord Wulan's was a super large material body. The material of his body, still at the Lord level, was tough and hard to annihilate. Far beyond comparison with soil, rocks, and such materials in a source world. Lord Wulan's kind of body might get injured in the infinite primordial space, but even if attacked by more than 70 ancestors, they'd only manage to hold him down, unwilling to expend too much effort on him. In the infinite primordial space, there were also several with abnormal defensive capabilities. There are those with stronger defenses than Lord Wulan. For instance, the ancestor-level being Origin, an ancestor-level entity in the form of a perfect sphere, representing the pinnacle of the defense Tao of the entire infinite primordial space. Of course, both Lord Wulan and the ancestor Origin share a common weakness. They are somewhat lacking in offense. Their methods, at the same level, appear clumsy, with many moves failing to hit the enemy. The energy he absorbed has surpassed mine, said Lord Nai Jiyu. It's about 1/10 of mine, Wulan remarked from afar, observing, with a massive physical body almost the size of the source world, naturally holding a vast amount of energy. Of the 7 lords, Lord Nai Jiyu, with the second largest body, had only 1/10 of his energy. As the 7 lords watched, Luo Feng continued to absorb energy, seemingly like a bottomless abyss, continuously devouring it. He's reached 50% of mine, Wulan exclaimed in shock. He's reached 80% of Wulan's. Jin shouted in surprise. How can he absorb so much energy? Yuan watched from afar and couldn't help but say, he's already caught up with Wulan. And he's still absorbing energy. More than Wulan, and a lot more, Starlight also observed. Ming Huang laughed. Looks like there's another indestructible fellow. Previously, among the 7 of them, only Wulan dared to let the enemy attack freely. Now, from the vast amount of energy Luo Feng absorbed, it was apparent that he was also extremely resilient. The stronger his survival capabilities, the weaker his offense will be, remarked Lord Mo Man, frowning. The other lords nodded in agreement. They all wielded the Tao of the highest level of power, and among beings of the same level, the differences were minimal. Each lord had their own strengths. Like Wulan, who was terrifyingly strong in defense. Like Jin and Mo Man, who were unbelievably strong in offense. Yuan was most skilled in formations. He could multiply the combined strength of the 7 lords by several times. Yuan was also the most important lord in group warfare. His path leans towards life, Yuan said, while the life path has its offensive means, it ultimately falls short. Luo Feng breaks laws with force. Starlight laughed. He's a bit immature now, but in the future, he will overcome this weakness. The lords present all agreed. Breaking laws with force indeed had greater potential. Once he breaks through, we will understand his techniques in detail and decide how to cooperate, Yuan said. He's absorbed so much energy, Jin couldn't help but shake his head. Among the lords, his physical energy was almost at the lowest, with only Lord Mo Man being weaker. He finally stopped, having absorbed more than triple mine. Even Wu Lan was somewhat amazed. With so much energy, letting the enemy deplete it would be very difficult, Mo Man sighed. If only I had 1/10 of his energy. Lord Mo Man, as the lord with the least energy, had only 1/30th of Lord Wu Lan's energy, which was approximately 1% of Luo Feng's. From another perspective, his offensive methods were extremely terrifying, leaving the ancestors unable to escape his techniques. Inside the quiet room of the cave mansion, a man in black clothes and black hair returned to his normal size, with a terrifying domain naturally spreading out from him as the center. Just like the source world origin, having a supreme rule operation system. Luo Feng's body was even more terrifying than the source world origin. His life and death operation system naturally influenced all directions. In the vast area where his main avatar was present, even world-level primordial lives would perish under the life and death operation system. Finally absorbed to the brim, Luo Feng felt the 1,008 million origins within him reaching full capacity, a sense of satisfaction welling up within him. His physical body, though enormous, had already grown to its limit. Only with 1,008 million origins could it carry such a vast amount of energy, allowing him to absorb until now. My physical body, though immense, contains energy 10 times greater than the energy contained within the 1,008 million origins. Luo Feng easily determined the energy within the myriad origins. If my full physical form were revealed, it would be about 1/3 of my hometown's source world, Luo Feng assessed. With a physical form 1/3 the size of his hometown's source world, every part of his body had the toughness of 1/10 of the Star Tower blood scale, all comprised of such high-level flesh. The strength of his body was conceivable, every movement carrying overwhelming force. Thorough breakthrough achieved. The complete evolution of his life form, he truly grasped the great power of a lord level. Luo Feng felt his current strength. A single breath could reduce a world-level primordial to ashes. Luo Feng, these are the Tao of our 7 lords, along with all the intelligence we've gathered on ancestor-level entities of the infinite primordial space. Understand it first, and then hurry to create combat techniques that suit you, Starlight Lord's voice echoed. Simultaneously, a flow of information arrived. Luo Feng received it with a single thought. Having just become a lord, he'd soon be on the battlefield, facing over 70 ancestors. Luo Feng felt the pressure. This information stream contains numerous commonalities that the lords ought to know. A lord-level cave mansion has already been prepared for me. Luo Feng learned about the structure of the land of origin, secret areas, formation composition, and routes in and out from the information stream. Every lord occupies a vast cave mansion, holding their ground at a location. Luo Feng's cave mansion was situated at one of the formation nodes, and his arrival could make the formation of the land of origin more stable. Phew! Luo Feng's thoughts swept across the entire land of origin, connecting with the other 7 lords, 200+ world-level primordials, over 80 million high-level primordials, and some cultivators within the braided cage. Only the other 7 lords could perceive Luo Feng's thoughts. Luo Feng, congratulations on becoming the 8th lord of our cultivator camp. Yuan was full of joy. This war will see a turnaround because of you, and the fate of the entire cultivator territory will change because of you. First, quickly grasp the vast information and comprehend your combat technique. Afterwards, we will study how to coordinate together. Jin urged, having been stifled for too long, now just waiting for Luo Feng to join in for the counterattack. Brother Luo Feng, the life energy you possess surpasses mine by far. Lord Wulan was also gratified. When the lords made group efforts, it was mainly him enduring the brunt. However, the ancestors too wielded the highest level power, with unpredictable methods. Even with Yuan's formation assistance, he could only barely hold off most of them. Now, with Luo Feng, it became much easier, and they could support each other. Luo Feng, congratulations. Ming Huang was the most indirect. Brother Luo Feng, having you and Wulan here makes future confrontations with the innate primordial life camp much more relaxed for our cultivator camp. You both are sufficient to stabilize the situation. Lord Nai Jiyu was in high spirits. He had been pessimistic before, but was now quite optimistic. A defensively formidable Lord Wulan, combined with Luo Feng, whose energy exceeded that of Lord Wulan by more than triple, would make group confrontations much simpler for the other lords, who were physically weaker. Like last time, merely with Lord Wulan being held back, under the furious assault by the multitude of ancestors, Jin, Ming Huang, and Mo Man's main battle avatars were almost blown apart. Similar perilous situations frequently occurred. Lord Nai Jiyu had had enough of this sense of danger, and wanted more safety. Brother Luo Feng, I've long anticipated your appearance. Lord Mo Man was quite pleased. They all knew Luo Feng was a lord who specialized in the life path, employing the power-breaking technique. Life, what does it signify? Everyone understands. Everyone hopes to have a companion proficient in the life path. Everyone, I'll first study the combat technique. Luo Feng responded to these 7 companions. He knew that in future years, these 7 lords would be his most trustworthy companions in the infinite primordial space, all forming the most robust protection force for the entire cultivator camp. Luo Feng took a step and arrived at a vast cave mansion, which occupied an immense landmass of ocean in the land of origin, covering about 1% of the entire area. Based on the foundation of the land of origin, this expansive cave mansion had layers upon layers of time and space opened within it, cumulatively surpassing the size of a source world. Sigh. Luo Feng now sat cross-legged at the center of this vast time and space. First, understand the 7 lords. Having no experience with the level of confrontation between lords and ancestors, Luo Feng naturally needed to first thoroughly understand it. His current rate of thought was unknowably faster than before, and just from probing, he comprehended the Daos created by the 7 lords, their combat techniques, and some of their cultivation experiences. Jin, what he created is the primordial destruction Dao. According to his own description, his primordial destruction Dao is 9 parts destruction, 1 part life. Because pure destruction makes it difficult to construct life forms, it requires a touch of life mystery to be infused. The sky-splitting saber, that I exchanged for also, is roughly 9 parts destruction, 1 part life. Luo Feng flipped his hand to take out the sky-splitting saber, which now posed no pressure to him. Jin's path and the sky-splitting saber's path are very similar. I wonder if there is any connection. Luo Feng contemplated. Holding the sky-splitting saber, he could remotely sense a place filled with endless destruction energy, a place so vast and unfathomable even to his current power. There thousands upon thousands of weapons were gestating, each indestructible, suitable as lord-level weapons. The sky-splitting saber contains the highest level of destruction mysteries, and can serve as a lord's weapon. Luo Feng now confirmed this point, and this type of weapon, there seem to be thousands and thousands in that mysterious land I can sense. This place must harbor numerous secrets. I'll explore and study it well after the war. Luo Feng was very interested in this, believing the other lords should have intelligence on this mysterious land. However, the current most urgent matter is the war, and Luo Feng's primary understanding pertained to intelligence on the lords and ancestors, and some common knowledge. More vast information can be slowly studied when there's free time. Having become a lord allows for a stronger sensing of the infinite primordial space, including encountering many unknowns. Luo Feng could sense that the infinite primordial space had some terrifying mysterious places, unshielded, and some giving him a strong sense of threat. Before becoming a lord, Luo Feng knew of the infinite world nurtured by the infinite Great Serpent clan, through which one could instantly appear in any part of the infinite primordial space. The land of origin is occupied by the cultivator camp, the mysterious land that nurtured the sky-splitting saber. There are many similar mysterious lands. We'll explore them slowly in the future. Lord Wulan cultivates the primordial material Tao, but actually it's 9 parts matter, and 1 part infinity combined. Because pure matter has relatively weaker defense, it needs to be combined with certain infinite mysteries to convert material energy. According to Wulan's judgment, if he can fuse more infinite mysteries, his techniques will be much more flexible and not so clumsy. The information Luo Feng received includes the complete Tao of Wulan, a full description of the inheritance. It's not something that can be learned. Each lord's Tao contains their own spiritual will. At most, one can borrow a few insights. Ming Huang, primordial thunder Tao, 8 parts thunder, 2 parts water Tao. Only Lord Mo Man is the purest extreme. His Tao is purely the primordial fluctuation Tao. Luo Feng was surprised after understanding this. Among all 8 lords, only Lord Mo Man is the purest. His body, in essence, is a single fluctuation, and he is the smallest in physique among the 8 lords, and his energy reserve is also the lowest. Is it really this crazy? After learning about Lord Mo Man, Luo Feng realized that Lord Mo Man was the first to achieve the master of the source world by the faith path. His voice can make countless creatures submit, and he has also pioneered the pure primordial fluctuation Tao. This path is strongly damaging to the ancestors, unknowingly penetrating deep within their bodies. The longer they battle him, the more their injuries accumulate. Lord Nai Jiyu and Yuan's paths are somewhat similar. Luo Feng noticed this point. Lord Nai Jiyu follows the primordial bloodline Tao. It requires absorbing ancestor-level bloodlines. Each one is very special. Completely mastering them is extremely difficult. With every ancestor-level bloodline mastered, Nai Jiyu becomes stronger. Theoretically, he can continue to strengthen endlessly. Senior Yuan, primordial rule operation Tao. Yuan has comprehended the most Tao in the cultivator camp. He has understood many paths. He initially penetrated the perfect operation of 9 paths, realizing the rule operation system and thereby becoming a lord. Other lords each have their specialties, but Senior Yuan can cultivate multiple Taos. Although each Tao is merely the complete Great Tao at the God King Ultimate Realm stage, Senior Yuan has already comprehended 25 Great Tao. The perfect operation of 9 Great Tao is the primordial rule operation Tao, making Yuan a lord. As he comprehends more Tao, they further integrate into the primordial rule operation system, enhancing his power. Without considering Starlight Lord, Yuan's current strength is clearly a step above the other lords. Nai Jiyu, Yuan, their paths are unusual, continuously accumulating and enhancing. Nai Jiyu, Jin, Wulan, Ming Huang, Mo Man, these 5 still remain at the same level. Yuan is already half a step stronger than them. And Starlight Lord is a step stronger than Nai Jiyu and the others. Before him, Starlight Lord was the only one using the power breaking technique. For a smoother reading experience, visit Novel Fire. Starlight Lord is a step stronger than other lords. Luo Feng understood the inherited information. The so-called further step is to comprehend the second primordial level Tao. Indeed, the primordial level Tao represents the essence of a certain highest power. But if one's ability is sufficient, there is hope to comprehend the second primordial level Tao. Then, the strength will naturally be much stronger than other lords. Each lord walks a path that deeply resonates with their inner desires. Only then can they become a lord. To change a path, it would no longer be the ultimate desire of the heart. Even though the lords have fast mental operations, strong comprehension, and observation abilities, the chance of comprehending the second primordial level Tao is nearly zero. This is the perception of other lords. Starlight Lord, before jumping out of the braided cage, as a half-primordial life, stubbornly comprehended the primordial space-time path. At that time, his life level was too low, yet he had enough recognition of the void, but his comprehension of time in primordial space was very weak. Thus, Starlight Lord, using the power-breaking technique, realized the primordial space-time path based on space. Space occupies 9 parts, time takes 1 part. His power in direct combat was already very strong. Later, he became a lord. With his lord-level life form, he comprehended another primordial space-time path, primarily based on time. Time takes 7 parts, space occupies 3 parts. The combination of both paths made him the most terrifying entity in the time and space aspect across infinite primordial space. His combat ability greatly surpasses other lords. His most frightening abilities are always present everywhere, present in every time, unassailable power. Although other lords are strong, their primary combat avatars can be blown up. Lord Wulan's body can be restrained and trapped. But Starlight Lord, he can't be killed. Facing terrifying assaults, his body can descend at any time from the past or future, so in a fight, there is no hope of killing him, he can appear at any location around. His presence has kept the cultivated territory stable. The innate primordial life camp spares no effort in attacking, and has only managed to breach over 600 world groups. Why is it so difficult? Why do numerous world-level primordial and high-level primordial perish? It's because of the omnipresent Starlight Lord. No wonder Senior Yuan believes Starlight contributes the most. However, Senior Yuan is humble, as he played a role in every lord's development. Luo Feng thought, due to the birth of the first lord, resources have been nurtured for subsequent lords. Without Senior Yuan, how could Starlight Lord exchange for a world-level primordial servant before jumping out of the braided cage? Without Senior Yuan, without Starlight Senior, Luo Feng wouldn't have the Star Tower, wouldn't have numerous primordial bloodlines for insights. Wanting to become a lord would be so much harder. The path Starlight Lord walks coincides with my thoughts. Luo Feng had similar thoughts early on. Before breaking free from the braided cage, he realized his life and death Tao was led astray by the Star Tower blood scale, 7 parts life, 3 parts destruction. At that time, he had no choice but to follow that path, which he certainly liked. As a life form, it should be centered on life. But if you want to annihilate enemies, you must focus on destruction. I can attempt to create a new primordial life and death Tao, primarily centered on destruction. Luo Feng had this idea early on, but at that time, his life level was too low, and he dared not try a second path. Now, becoming a lord, he could try. The Tao created in the future can be given a different name. Luo Feng looked at the sky-splitting saber in his hand, for instance, Primordial Blade Path. The name is just a title. Creating a new Tao could take an indefinable amount of time. I'll slowly ponder it once the war is over. Luo Feng also understood the difficulty of pioneering a second primordial Tao. All other lords have failed, and it took Starlight Lord a long time for his second Tao. These ancestors possess powerful strength as well. Luo Feng carefully learned about the upcoming opponents, even though these ancestors grew through life core, reaching their current status. It doesn't mean they are weak. Among them are those stronger and weaker, some are stronger than lords in certain aspects. Even star-like lord, before comprehending the second spacetime Tao, several individuals surpassed his achievement in the spacetime aspect across infinite primordial space. Only recently did he rise to the first position. Over 70 ancestors combining forces to destroy everything, their power is too terrifying. Luo Feng felt a bit worried. Could he withstand it? Understanding his companions and learning the opponent's techniques, Luo Feng began attempting to create a system of combat techniques with his Tao. This video will end here.